he was surrounded by strange creatures. As he checked his situation, he noticed that the monsters around him were ranked as level C. The chances didn't seem in his favor. One of the monsters jumped at Takumi, but he reacted quickly, defeating it with a well-aimed air shot. The remaining two creatures, seeking revenge for their fallen friend, attacked together, only to meet the same end. Tired and confused by his unexpected arrival in this world, Takumi collected the loot from his fallen enemies and stored them in his inventory. His mind went back to his arrival in this strange place. He remembered Sil, the god of this realm, who had deeply apologized for the mistake. Takumi recalled asking Sil for an explanation, and the god had admitted that an error had sent him to the Ice Sky world. Sil admitted that Takumi had been accidentally transported due to too much divine power. As Takumi continued through the forest, he accepted that his previous life had ended at the age of 28. Sil had brought him back to life in Ateldia, a world under Sil's rule, giving Takumi's new body essential knowledge, languages, and special skills to help him survive. Checking his stats, Takumi noticed he had leveled up to 3 after defeating the monsters. Suddenly, he heard rustling in a nearby bush. Preparing for another fight, he was surprised to find a pair of siblings. Approaching them, he asked if they were lost. The children, wary of the stranger, remained silent, their stomachs growling. Takumi offered them food from his inventory, and they ate together. Seeing their worn-out clothes, he ordered new ones through a magical delivery. After the meal, he dressed them in the new clothes and told them of his plan to head to the nearby town, inviting them to join him. The children remained silent, so Takumi introduced himself and tried to get their names, but they still didn't respond. Using his appraisal skills, Takumi found out they had no names. He decided to call the boy Alan and the girl Elena. He encouraged them to follow him out of the forest, and they obediently followed behind. Takumi, mindful of their energy, moved slowly to avoid tiring them out. Suddenly, the children ran ahead. Alarmed, Takumi called out, noticing monsters in their path. He thought about using magic but feared harming the kids. To his surprise, the twins jumped into action, quickly defeating the monsters. Impressed by their strength despite their young age, Takumi warned them to alert him of danger next time instead of rushing ahead. Realizing the twins' remarkable abilities, Takumi concluded that they must be quite strong to have survived in the forest for so long. Together, they continued their journey toward the town, the children now a part of Takumi's strange new life. As they traveled through the forest, the children continued to spot and eliminate monsters with ease, impressing Takumi with their skills. He praised their efforts, relieved that he didn't need to step in. As night approached, he instructed the kids to gather wood for a fire. They obeyed, and Takumi prepared dinner. Over the meal, he noticed the children's shy behavior melting away as they began to smile more. After dinner, Takumi set up a magic tent to keep them safe through the night. The next day, they reached the town's gates. Takumi told the guards that they had come from the forest of Gaia. The guards were suspicious, knowing that the forest was typically ventured into only by A-rank adventurers. Takumi understood their doubts, especially since he had 2 children with him. He made up a story, explaining that he was from the countryside and had entered the forest to find herbs. To reassure the guards, he emphasized the children's ability to defend themselves. The guards asked if he had found the herbs, to which he replied yes, mentioning his luck in not needing to go too deep into the forest. When they requested his ID, Takumi admitted he didn't have one, coming from a remote area. The guards decided to check them. They handed him a crystal ball, a magical device to check one's criminal history. After checking them, the guards found them clean and gave them temporary passes, advising them to get official IDs at the guild if they had time. As they entered the town, the twins clung tightly to Takumi, clearly wary of strangers. He led them to the town temple and asked them to sit on some benches while he prayed. Before the statue of Sil, Takumi began his prayer, and Sil appeared. They talked, with Sil asking about Takumi's adjustment to the new world. Takumi mentioned the twins he had found in the forest, revealing his plan to leave them at an orphanage, as he felt unfit to care for them. Sil, taking the bait, tried to convince him to keep the children, confirming Takumi's suspicion that Sil was behind the whole ordeal. Takumi confronted Sil, accusing him of setting up the monster encounters and the discovery of the children. Sil apologized for tricking him but refused to tell the children's identities. Takumi guessed that other gods were involved, given Sil's secrecy. Sil confirmed Takumi's suspicions, admitting that the twins were no ordinary children. Sil remains quiet about the children's origins, prompting Takumi to drop the subject for now. He then asks if the kids can stay with him, and Sil grants him full parenting rights. Though disappointed Sil hadn't mentioned the kids earlier, Takumi reassures him he never intended to leave them at an orphanage. Returning to the children, they head to an inn to finally sleep on a bed. Upon checking in, they all jump onto the bed, exhausted. The next morning, Takumi wakes to find the kids already awake. He greets them, and to his surprise they reply with a "good morning," marking the first time he hears their voices. Takumi decides to take the children to the Adventurers Guild. At the guild, they're greeted by Luna, the receptionist. Takumi registers himself and the kids as adventurers, as there's no age limit. Luna hands him the registration forms and tells him to wait for their IDs. As Takumi fills out the forms, he notices the kids' unease around the strangers but assures them they're safe. Luna returns with their guild cards, explaining that the cards double as their ID. Takumi is surprised to find he has leveled up from 3 to 11 after defeating a few monsters. Luna explains the guild system, detailing the ranks from F, newcomer, to S, hero, and mentions the rare SS rank, which currently has no holders. She explains that party ranks are determined by the average rank of its members and outlines the procedure for taking quests. She also informs Takumi that any materials or items found on quests can be appraised and sold at the guild. Takumi decides to form a party with the kids and chooses White Wings as their party name. Eager for their first quest, he selects a simple herb gathering mission from the quest board. Luna approves the quest, giving them 3 days to complete it. Excited, Takumi heads to the forest with the kids. They encounter a harmless slime, and Takumi reassures the children. While they play with the slime, Takumi finds the herb of life and teaches the kids how to harvest it. The children quickly gather more herbs, impressing Takumi with their speed. Returning to the guild with their haul, Luna is stunned by the amount of herbs they collected. Luna is amazed by the large number of herbs Takumi and the children gathered in just half a day. She appraises the herbs and pays them for completing the quest. Takumi praises the kids for their effort, but their moment is interrupted by a loud adventurer who questions why children are in the guild. Takumi defends their presence, saying that they aren't causing any trouble. The loudmouth insists that the sight of the twins is annoying. Luna tries to calm the situation, but the adventurer grabs Takumi by the collar. Fed up, the kids knock him down and nearly finish him off before Takumi stops them. Concerned, he asks Luna if they will be punished, but she reassures him that their actions were in self-defense. A guard enters the guild, whom Takumi recognizes as the one they met at the gate. Luna draws Takumi's attention to the twins, who are now crying. Takumi wonders if they were hurt, but they beg him not to leave them. He assures them he won't abandon them. The guard, introducing himself as Vault, the second captain of a branch of the kingdom's knights, asks about the situation. Takumi explains what happened, mentioning that the kids feared he would leave them because they met in the forest of Gaia. Luna recalls hearing about slave traders who were attacked by monsters in the forest, and thinks that the kids were used as bait. Vault, using his authority, appoints Takumi as their guardian, seeing their attachment to him. Luna realizes that Takumi might have other items from his time in the forest, and asks if he wants to sell them. Takumi agrees and is pleasantly surprised by how much he earns. Vault then informs Takumi about an upcoming expedition to the forest of Gaia, which aims to reduce the monster population and minimize the risk of attacks on the kingdom. He insists that Takumi join the expedition, given his success in taking down monsters. Takumi protests, citing his F-rank status. Vault, however, is determined and discusses the matter with the guild master, requesting a special exception for Takumi. The guild master is initially doubtful about including a newcomer, but Vault convinces him by emphasizing Takumi's skills, despite his rank.